My name's Thomas Kennedy. Some of you probably already know me. I'm a mostly lifelong Washingtonian. I live in Seattle. Before that, I lived in Maple Valley and then in Renton and then in another place in Renton and then California before that because I got my bachelor's in electrical engineering at Santa Clara. I was an engineer for a couple of years in the Bay Area. Then I quit and went to grad school up here in Seattle at SPU and became a high school math teacher, which I did for 11 years until disability pushed me out. I've been a volunteer for a year with Whole Washington. I am the social media lead and video content creator, and I do a lot of presentations like this. A few people you should know at our org. Andre Stackhouse is our executive director. He's a lifelong Washingtonian, lives in Seattle, North Seattle, unlike me in South Seattle. Studied information science at UW, was a professional software engineer, and has a lot of political involvement, both with Whole Washington and with the Democratic and Green parties here in the state. Carrie Wallace is our board chair. She's from Castle Rock, Washington. She's been a registered nurse for over 20 years. She's a dues-paying member of WSNA and NNU, the two largest nursing unions in the state. And she's a Whole Washington signature captain and volunteer since 2016. On top of that, she does a lot of other things with our coalition and uh, with the HCA. So Carrie is very involved, and we're very lucky to have her as the person in charge of the board. Susan is disgusted by all my taxes going to multi-billion-dollar organizations and getting nothing for it. But aren't you glad we lowered taxes on them? Uh, yeah, that was great. So what is Whole Washington? Many of you already know, but we're a 501c4 political nonprofit. We should have C3 status within the month. The Washington Health Trust is our signature universal health care bill, which is the only one in the legislature. We're the largest universal health care group in Washington. We're the only universal health care group that currently is actively building a ballot initiative campaign. Uh, Healthcare for All Washington actually used to do this back in the early thousands, but we're the only ones now. And we are members of the Healthcare is a Human Right Washington Coalition, which has over 40 member organizations and 20 allied organizations. It was formed back in 2014. We joined more recently than that, but we're a dues-paying member, a voting member of the steering committee, and honestly, we're a lot of the engine that is pushing this coalition forward at Whole Washington. A little history of universal health care in Washington. In 1993, the Health Services Act was signed into law under the Clinton administration, and then Clinton lost the House and it was repealed. However, we could have been transitioning towards universal health care even back in the 90s. Healthcare for All Washington, a member of our coalition, ran their first ballot initiative for universal health care in 1999. Whole Washington took over that mantle with their first initiative in 2018. We ran again in 2020 and again in 2022. However, the 2021 was cut short by the incidence of COVID. Uh, in 2021, the Universal Healthcare Commission was signed into law. The Universal Healthcare Commission is an important part of the progress, but despite being signed into law in 2021 and having about 4 years to work on this, they have made very little substantive progress. We actually just, Whole Washington members just testified, and I think the testifying we did was awesome. The speeches were exceptional, and I'm going to be releasing a whole bunch of them on social media this week. And then this year, one of our most exciting things was that the Washington Health Trust was introduced for the first time into the state house. The Washington Health Trust is a universal healthcare financing bill, which means financing is part of the bill. A lot of universal healthcare policies don't have this, that other states are pushing forward, or even that the Healthcare for All Washington's Washington Health Security Trust, they don't actually put financing in their bill. We think financing is a very big deal because we don't trust politicians to come up with money on their own. Uh, it's a universal single payer healthcare system. However, it would not be single payer at the start. It would become single payer after we get waivers and necessary involvement from the government, the federal government. Doctors and hospitals would remain private. It would be a public insurance plan for all Washingtonians. Countries like Canada, Taiwan, South Korea, and Australia have similar systems. And we believe that it can start in a state because of the example of Saskatchewan, which implemented it under a socialist leader in the 60s. And by the early 70s, every province in Canada had universal health care. So we believe this is the necessary transition step to Medicare for all nationally. Uh, yeah, let's move on. So we have a few strategies. The first one is passing it by ballot. We have been unsuccessful in 3 initiatives thus far. However, this round, we only need 308-ish thousand valid signatures, which is actually lower than the other signature campaigns were requiring because fewer people voted in the last governor's race. So this is a very doable number. We really, really want to try to get out there and take advantage of the fact that we need fewer signatures this round because Ferguson wasn't a very exciting candidate to people. Uh, our goal for the next initiative is to be on the ballot in the next presidential election year in 2028. And that can come about by two different kinds of initiatives. One to the legislature in 2027, they'd then vote on it, then it would go to the ballot if they don't uphold it or vote it into law. And the other one is an initiative to the people that goes directly to the ballot and could be done the same year. The other way to pass it is through the legislature. We had record co-sponsorship in both the House and the Senate this year. We had never had it introduced in the House, so this is our record. We're going to build on 17 going into the next year, and hopefully also build on our Senate number. The people we need to get through to get this signed into law are Annette Cleveland and Dan Bernofsky, the two chairs in the legislature for the healthcare committees. We're upping our legislative game next year. We are introducing 5 new transitional bills this year. These were developed through universal healthcare stakeholder meetings that were led by Bob Hasagawa, our prime sponsor in the Senate. These are deprivatizing Medicaid, raising the Medicaid threshold from 138% to 300% of the federal poverty line, making the Universal Healthcare Commission actually do something, giving them deadlines and deliverables that can be met, but actually move us towards universal healthcare. A trigger bill for the state-based Universal Healthcare Act that Ro Khanna has put forward nationally, so that if that is passed nationally, then we have triggers to immediately get those waivers and be able to transition towards universal healthcare cleanly. And lastly, a constitutional amendment protecting the access to healthcare. This is an important part, either before or after we get universal healthcare, because it helps us hold up judicially. It will probably help after universal healthcare. As a lot of nurses and doctors argue for being paid fairly and that sort of thing. So this has a lot of benefit, especially after we get universal health care. Every one of these is a transitional step towards universal health care that builds on our success from our first bill we passed this year, which was Senate Joint Memorial 8004, basically just a messaging bill that asks the federal government to support Medicare for all at either the federal or state level, which sent to the Trump administration doesn't do a whole lot, but there's hope in the future. We're also supporting HB 1354. This is an already existing bipartisan bill to expand the public employee state insurance to legislative aids. It is a really small bill, but it is bipartisan, gives us a chance to work with a lot of Republican lawmakers. And we're still pushing our health trust this year. So we have some priorities. We need to grow our organization. We need to support our legislation in Olympia. It's really important that we're down there for lobby days this year. We plan to be there almost every day between January 12th, which is when the session starts, and February 4th, which is when committees end, so that we can put pressure on the politicians to push our bills through committee. Uh, we plan to have a covered info table and a lobby team every day we can go. We're going to provide public comment for sure when and if we get hearings. And we have a ton of bills we're supporting. We're also increasing outreach. We'd love to talk to more organizations, LDs, groups around the state, unions, as was brought up earlier. We would love to talk to your union and get them more involved. And then lastly, building relationships with the legislature. So building out not only a robust legislative team, kind of interior to the org, but also people who are already involved in their communities, getting involved in favor of universal health care now, and also creating materials designed for legislators that we can bring to those meetings and have them understand what we're trying to do. So how do you get involved? This is a prototype new volunteer checklist. We're going to be roughly following through on this. This is something I'm working on with another volunteer here that we're hoping to allow people to onboard themselves. But I just wanted to show it off because I think it's really cool. So the first thing you can do is learn. There's a whole bunch of different ways to learn more about the organization. The first way is our website. I'm going to do a little website tour in just a moment. The second way is via social media. I'm going to show a little bit about. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, Catherine, that's in the process. I'm going to show a little bit about how
Oh,
to use social media to learn more. Uh, Hopefully we can get everybody in Slack before the end of the day because this really is where most of the work happens here, or where most of the organizing within whole Washington happens. You can watch films. We have virtual films that are hosted on our YouTube, and we also do in-person screenings of different healthcare related films. You can meet with your local group or make one yourself. There are a lot of local groups kind of sprouting up right now. We've had a lot with only like one or two meetings, but that are really excited. And the more of those we get, the more people feel a sense of community around this. And the last way is you can sign up for the email newsletter. Anything you get in the newsletter will often have an action item at the top or an ask at the top that is like a new event. For instance, we had a Universal Healthcare Commission meeting at the end of last week on Thursday, and one of our emails sent out an ask to give public comment at that. And
mm,
I think we got at least one click on that in person who showed up. So that's pretty awesome. So the social media we're on is Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, like just every social media platform. We even have our own subreddit. As far as I know, we're the only universal healthcare group with a subreddit. I'm trying
mm,
to keep it alive. I'm currently trying to make one here in Walla Walla. That's amazing. That's so cool.
yeah.
Thank you, Claudia. So an example on YouTube of how to learn. This training for volunteers playlist is going to be growing soon. These are in the works. Uh, but our YouTube has different playlists, and you can go there to learn more about the state legislature under the state legislature playlists. Most of my videos end up under healthcare problems and solutions. They're more kind of topical in the moment videos, but there are a lot of videos about whole Washington and the Washington Health Trust. This is a great place to find maybe something you're interested in and learn from it. Okay, now I'm going to do a quick website tour. Before I go, I want to say that our executive director, Audrey Stackhouse, and our website lead, Hope Beck, along with some amazing volunteers, have given our site a massive facelift recently.
Mm,
It's gotten so much better. And we're still drafting new pages because we have active teams around doing that. So it's a very exciting time on that front, and our resources are pretty good. So I Whoops. I think I'm now sh sharing the website. Is that true?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Wanted to
Yeah,
make sure I was actually screen sharing and not just sharing the PowerPoint.
right. Mhm.
Yeah, so the first place to look is actions. Here you have pledge to sign, volunteer, join our Slack, print flyers. These are really the four most important actions that you can take, especially as a new volunteer. So this is a great place to check out. And we'll be going back to the join our Slack in a minute when we do the Slack introduction. Under campaigns, you can learn a lot more about the legislature, but I'm not going to delve too much into this or the Universal Healthcare Commission or any of these, but I'm not going to delve too much into this because I'll let you do that on your own time. How it's funded, it might be our most popular page. It's pretty simple because our funding is not very complicated. But we do have a cost calculator at the bottom, and you can see how it would affect you and your family by plugging your information into the cost calculator. In addition, we have a really nice polls page with a lot of graphics on it. You can see the studies that support our bill and read the full text of the bill in there. One of the most important places on this site, and a place I'm actually going to click on now, is the calendar. Come on, website. There we go. This is where you can learn about whole Washington events. There's also a really cool hack that you can do if you want to start getting a lot more involved or be notified of when events are happening.
Oh.
You can subscribe to Calendar down here at the bottom, and you can just add it to your Google Calendar, your iCalendar, and so on and so forth. This is what
Hmm.
I do, and then I actually know they're all there. So if you have interest in that, I recommend doing that. I can tell you for okay, I can actually show you my calendar.
I
Uh
didn't know you could do that. That's
there's a lot of red on there with whole Washington events if
oh,
you look at that. So you can actually shut it off on Google Calendar and then just see your own calendar. So that's also pretty awesome because you can just turn it on to see what's happening that day. And then it doesn't clutter your calendar all the time.
cool.
I always forget what format there's like iCalendar, three. There's like three different options to pick, and I never pick the right one.
Yeah, I mean there are six here, so you're totally host. But I use Google Calendar, so it was easy for me um, to know. Then, as far as other pages that are really useful, under About, there's one very useful page, which is the frequently asked questions page.
Mm.
The reason why this is important, especially for a new volunteer, is it kind of answers a lot of your early questions. What is the Washington Health Trust? Who is eligible? What's included? And you don't have to click around to all these different pages. You just look under each of these little accordions and you can see what our stance is on that. And if you ever have a frequently asked question that you think should be added to this, let us know. It is actually a topic on a meeting I have tomorrow to try to requisition these questions and then come up with answers for them. So I highly recommend the FAQ page. All right, I'm going to go back to my presentation now. Whoopsie.
Mm.
Okay, the next like really valuable thing you can do is join a committee or group. We have so many groups within our Slack ecosystem, but also just kind of independently in regions. What Claudia is trying to do in Walla Walla is something that has been successful in other regions. We have a strong Spokane team, a strong King County team that's really come about in like the last 5 months, 4 months or so. We have a group up in Bellingham. We have a group down in Southern Washington. We've had some meetings out on the peninsula. There's a lot of exciting regional groups happening, and it honestly it's just fun to meet up at like a bar or a library and talk, shop, try to get things done. We have other activity-based groups. Our data and tech team is actually huge and super involved, and we have a lot of really exciting things coming soon. I am looking forward to having an at Whole Washington email instead of a Gmail, my personal Gmail to talk to people with. That's very exciting. We also are going to host passwords for free soon instead of having to pay for that, which is really exciting. Uh, we Fundraising is very important to us right now. Our gala team is growing and has a huge responsibility to throw an awesome gala in May. Uh, Events is very similar to fundraising. A lot of our events are fundraising, but some events are just meetups for our regional groups. Social media, I'm recruiting. I always need more people to make graphics or record content or just go to the content and upvote it or watch it. Any of that is helpful. Graphics are great. We have a website team that's kind of attached to our data and tech team that improves that. We have policy and legislative teams. The policy team was very busy. The policy team was basically Catherine, Andre, and I this round, writing the bills that, or at least the outlines to the bills that then the legislative staff wrote. Legislative team also does things like get involved with their local legislative district, get meetings. Whoops. Union outreach is huge. Any union outreach, please contact Andre. He would love to hear about it, our executive director. Communications is a very busy team. That's my meeting tomorrow. We talk about all sorts of things from the website to events to all that kind of stuff. The Universal Healthcare Commission, this is what the meeting was for last Thursday. They're monthly meetings, and they're a great chance to do public speaking. And we have phone banking, meeting facilitation, what I'm doing right now. We have DEI and accessibility teams, local legislative districts, no teams here yet, but getting there. County teams and regional team leads. Feel free to ask me about any of these later or in chat. Okay. You can also spread the word. You can just follow and share our social media on your own social media. You can also create content of your own supporting Whole Washington, or you can create content for our Whole Washington team. You can print flyers and share them. Alexa has a business and has posted our flyers in front of her business and posted it on Instagram, and that's amazing. Whoops. You can talk to people you love and tell them you're volunteering. They might be interested. And you can also share on LinkedIn that you're a volunteer, or Facebook, or any of those sorts of platforms. You can join or host an event, anything from small to big, just a happy hour with friends, inviting a Whole Washington leader to hang out. You can host or attend a movie night. We have movies available you can watch at these. You can host or attend a fundraising gala or luncheon. You can table at community events or host or join an event, something like going to your local Pride Festival, going to a local protest, like the No Kings or the whatever the old version of that was called, the Other Indivisible protests. Those are great places. We were at like 12 to 13 different No Kings rallies last time. It was very cool. Stephen, what's your question?
Well, I'm glad that you had said that we can go ahead and post about Whole Washington and so forth on Facebook. Because what I've actually done, because I'm really excited. If you look in chat, I made this up for my Facebook page, and I didn't post it because I didn't know if I was allowed to use the name and so forth. But that's kind of a draft of what I made.
I mean, that looks wonderful.
Yeah.
I don't. You can post anything you want on your own personal. The restrictions come in when you're posting on our content, which you'd need
Okay.
passwords from me to do. So yeah. Okay. Just a quick talk about our legislative team. There's a lot of different things you can do. You can give testimony. You can attend state meetings. They're a little boring, but if you're into the details, it can be interesting. During legislative session, one of the really interesting things you can do is, and it's pretty easy, you can just click the pro for all of the healthcare advancing bills. There's probably going to be something like 10, maybe 15 bills that are worth putting a pro in for this cycle, of which six are our bills. You can meet with reps during the off season or senators to keep us on their radar, to show their constituents want this. It's useful meeting with people we already have as a sponsor to say thank you, and also to meet with people who have not yet co-sponsored us to try to push them to do so. And you'll see asks for these in newsletters, social media, and Slack. Signature gathering. We're not quite doing this right now, but we absolutely will when we run an initiative, and this will likely be in 2027 or 2028. So we are either gearing up early next year or very, very early in 2028, like as soon as the year turns over. Whoops. You can make a donation or help with our fundraising team. Our fundraising team definitely is looking for more people to help. You can donate space for volunteers to congregate. A guy in Everett just did this. It was really, really awesome because a group of our volunteers were able to meet up there and make signs. You can attend a fundraiser or movie night. You can match donations, apply for grants. When we get 501c3 status, this is going to be a very important priority applying for grants because we're going to be eligible for like 10 times, maybe even more grants than a 501c4 would be eligible for. And really, anything you do, any talent you have, any skill you have, any network you have, any resources you have will be helpful to the movement. Think about what you would enjoy doing and what would be helpful, and then just do it or reach out to somebody like myself or Catherine or Andre and ask us for support or whether or not we can do anything to help you. And this is a marathon. We're playing the long game here. As much as we would like universal healthcare passed tomorrow, and I'm still pushing for our bill to get passed in 2026, we've been told by the lawmakers that they aren't going to pass our bill in 2026. And that's frustrating. But we can pressure them with the initiative, and doing our law work pressures them to respond to the initiative. So both of our tracks really play with each other. Don't push yourself to do too much. We want you to feel supported. Ask for help. The people here are really nice. If you ask in our Slack, you will get help. Somebody will respond to you, often very quickly. Often Catherine or I, or me.
Well, hopefully more.
uh, and we want you to take positive actions that are rewarding, and it's okay to only do one thing. You don't have to do everything. In fact, it can be overwhelming to do everything. Ask our executive director. And now let's take some action. So the first thing is, if you have not done this already, I'm guessing most of you have done this already, you should go to wholewashington.org/volunteer and volunteer. Like, sign up to volunteer. This puts you in our system as a volunteer. It tags you in our Inaction Network, our organizing system, as a volunteer. The second thing you can do is, and this is no longer a link off of the webpage, but you can go to wholewashington.org/volunteer questionnaire. And this is a way you can provide more information about yourself so that when Jen or another volunteer organizer calls you, they'll know what you're interested in, what you want to help with, and who to connect you with team-wise. And our last thing that you definitely want to do is pledge. By the way, this is a really outdated picture. We have, I think, like 9,000 pledges now.
Yay.
So don't be dissuaded by this very low number. We're much higher than that. Our goal, I believe, is to be around 30,000 to 40,000 pledges before we launch an initiative, because then we'll have about 10% of our needed number of signatures to get there. And then there's Slack. So Slack is not required but strongly encouraged. It really is where everything happens at Whole Washington. It allows us to collaborate by ourselves and at any time. Andre often posts stuff after midnight, but you can get it the next morning and still be good. It enables both phone and computer to talk to each other, which is helpful. It does not require volunteers to exchange their contact information if you'd like to be more private. And it allows us to organize into channels by topic, geography, whatever we're working on. And I'll show this in a moment, what the channels are like and how to do all that. All right, some Slack tips before we jump into a little Slack tour. It can be overwhelming. You don't need to read everything. I read everything because I'm a masochist, and I think Catherine's in a similar category, but you don't have to. Uh, it can send a lot of notifications. Feel free to turn them off. It takes some getting used to, but once you're used to it, if you've ever used Discord or any of the other Microsoft Teams, it's very similar to those. And messages are temporary. We don't have like a premium account, so messages only last 90 days. So remember to save any important info and put it somewhere where you can keep it. It's also very user friendly. I think it's user friendly too. Some people have disagreed. So our code of conduct, it applies to, this is the intro to our Slack. This is important because we've had one individual who repeatedly broke our code of conduct. So I gotta talk through this real quick. It applies to everybody. It applies in all spaces, virtual or physical. It's requested of all supporters, but like we can't control everybody. We're a volunteer organization. You can contact grievances at wholewashington.org if you have any issues. I did not know about this. Interesting. And failure to follow may result in corrective action or dismissal. So, what's the code of conduct? Keep it political, not personal. Do not assume or attack the motivations or intentions of others. Like, please don't call people names. Be nice to people, be charitable to individuals, be ruthless against the systems, notably uh, uh, insurance. That's our main enemy. Our shared goals are what unites us. Keep it professional, respectful, collaborative, and transparent. Respect the privacy of others and bring positive energy. This is kind of the big one. Everybody's so nice. Like our meetups are so wonderful because everybody I meet in person is just wonderful. So just assume they're wonderful and bring that positive energy. It's actually easier to just check on the Slack regularly that rather than having notifications on. Yeah, that makes sense. So, if you're not in Slack already, please go to wholewashington.org/Slack. I can put it in chat. So I'm gonna pop into Slack now. I mean, I'm already in Slack. So I have a million channels open. You don't need this many channels open. In fact, when you join, you only have a handful of channels available to you, like five. So here's what I recommend. The first thing is you can add any channel by just putting in a number sign. What is that thing called? Forget. Ampers huh? Oh, hashtag? Yeah, sure. Hashtag, my wife was telling me that. But you can join any social or any team by looking at these in the list. There's also an ad channel.
Go
Yeah,
to
where is that?
go to manage. You do it again. Hit the three.
Oh, okay.
Manage
Manage, browse
and
channels.
browse channels. Then
Oh,
you see all the channels. So don't make any new channels until you're certain that there isn't one already made. For
yeah,
whatever.
and I'm not sure. I don't think I have the ability to make channels. I think only people who are Slack admins can. So
No, no, that's how come we got, yeah, Andre may have changed that because we used to, yeah, that's why we have so many.
so you can scroll through all the multitude of channels we have. How many is it showing? Probably like 120 channels. I
Yeah.
would recommend not joining all of them, only joining things that you find interesting. As far as messaging goes, a channel lights up like this white if you have an unread message in it. If you click on it, it will tell you the new message. Pam is talking to state representative, or sorry, national representative Emily Randall right now. That's awesome. And so I can react to this. I can give her a little emoji. I'll give her thumbs up. I can also reply to her thread and say, awesome, by clicking the little reply button and putting that in there. We recommend that people reply in threads instead of not in threads because it keeps the chat from scrolling too much. And you can click on a specific person and or a comment and you can see the train there. So you see under carries there are 9 replies. I can click on that and see all of the replies to that, most of which are from Carrie. You can also do things with personal people. So, for instance, if I click on Catherine down at the bottom, or if I search Catherine up at the top, which is how you would find Catherine if you wanted to ask Catherine a question, you could search Catherine at the top, click on Catherine, it would pop you down here to a personal chat. And you could send a personal chat just by typing in here, and this only sends it to Catherine.
Mhm.
You can also, at the top here, click on Start Huddle with Catherine. This is a one-on-one video conferencing tool, and this is really helpful for just talking with another team member really quickly over just Slack itself. You don't have to use Zoom or Google Meets or any of that. You can just click on this, and instead of typing to them, you will be entered into a chat with them.
You
All right.
actually put it on a Zoom, like a video call. It's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, I use it all the time. I
Yeah,
prefer
you
it
don't
to.
need to make a Zoom link or anything like that. You just huddle right there in Slack. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so the other things in my list is you can at people if you want them to be notified when you make a comment. So I could at Andre if I wanted Andre to see a message. Don't do this too much because it's kind of obnoxious. And Andre's going to see most messages anyways. But this is a very helpful tool if you like really want to talk to everybody. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about is if you click on yourself. Let's see if I could remember how to do that. Here, I click on myself. This is my profile. So it has a picture. You can edit this. You can edit the writing about yourself that says where you're from, what you do at the organization. You can set a status like you're away or whatever. So it's helpful to get this set up so people like know where you're from, what teams you're in, that sort of thing, if they click on your profile. There's like more higher end stuff, like you could star channels. I don't really see a point in doing this. Just join the
Oh,
channels you want to see, but you can do it.
oh, starring is wonderful. It puts all the ones you're really working on at the, that you are most
Oh,
involved with, right up at the top. You don't have to like, it's wonderful.
I disagree. I'm all about alphabetical sorting. I'm happy to
Oh
scroll.
God, really? I didn't think they did
Yes.
that in IT at all. Wow. I didn't think they
Kind of
took
like the
the alphabet
favorites
anymore.
feature.
Yeah, it is. It's do what you want. You can also leave channels if you truly want to. You can go up here to the top, click the 3 dots, and leave whatever channel you want. You could also mute that channel, so turn off notifications from that channel, that sort of thing. However, just join the channels you're interested in and check out those ones. That's really the priority here in Slack. And also feel free to shoot me any sort of questions or any of that sort of thing. I'm happy to answer. Catherine's happy to answer. We are here to help you get involved. We're not here to lord over you or anything. We're all like on the same level. Once you're a volunteer, you're at the same level as me.
Yeah, right. A great channel is Ask Anything, and people do. You can ask anything there, and someone will give you the answer. In general, and announcements, I think, is
Yes.
probably the most important ones. And introductions, there's one when you first join for introductions.
True. And introductions is kind of where I wanted to point people now, because in introductions, please put in an introduction. When you join Whole Washington, it's very helpful for people to know who you are and what you do, because this is another way that our volunteers who are team leads can connect you with the person or say hello to you or that sort of thing. So please, please, please introduce yourself. Say where you live, what kind of stuff you want to work on with Whole Washington. Rodolfo here is a programmer, so he was sharing his languages and his AWS. Man, he seems very helpful. I hope he's getting involved with our data team ASAP. And I did have a little slide for this. Go to introductions now, introduce yourself, find somebody else's introduction, give them a thumbs up. Whoever gets there first gets all the thumbs ups. And the other really important thing that I also want to put in chat is this document is an amazingly useful document. This document is where all of the meeting agendas for every team at Whole Washington is found. You can look over any of the agendas, see if there's anything interesting in that meeting. I can pull this up. You can see this page is really boring. There's not a lot here. However, over on the side, there's document tabs. And we have our fundraising team, our legislative team, our volunteer coordination team, our communications team. We're a completely open organization. We don't hide any of our information from any of our volunteers. Only very, very specific, like financial stuff, is maybe slightly more guarded. But as far as information goes, you can learn what's going to happen at our comms meeting tomorrow just by going to this document, or a social media team on Wednesday, and so on and so forth. So really highly recommend bookmarking this, because this document is used multiple times every week by tons of Whole Washington volunteers and is updated all the time. And really, we're at the end. This last part was fairly informal. Hopefully, you learned something as I went over website and Slack stuff.